Hitting a very pivotal part of our season. It is July. We have the trade deadline. We have the draft. We have a whole bunch of stuff. First thing we're going to be looking at is who we're going to put on the block now that we kind of know what our team is. Fortunately, we have a couple guys who are injured that would have been trade candidates. We're putting up a lot of our relievers. Curtis, Kinley, anyone who's been good. I mean, relievers you can get back. So those guys are going to be the first guys that we are looking for. Those are what teams can get us. Maybe not fantastic prospects, but guys who we could use. And then really the only other guy of value we have that we can trade is Elias Diaz. We're looking at starting pitching, first base, catcher, really look anywhere, but these are where we're kind of highlighting as our wants from teams back to start conversations. Moving on ahead to the Futures game, we had two representatives. First off, Zach Veen, and then next up, Drew Romo. Veen probably gets on there due to reputation, and Drew Romo, look at his stats. He's hitting extremely well, one of the best hitters in all of Double-A. And he's going to show that here. He's going to get a hanging slider from Jackson Jobe, who struck out Veen. Going to hit it off the MLB Network side here in Texas. One comes around to score. The second comes around to score. And Romo probably hung up at third if the throw was a little bit better, but he's going to get in there with a triple. So Drew Romo really knocking on the door, like, hey, especially if we trade Diaz, he's a guy who we're probably going to call up and give the rest of the season. He's one of our top prospects, and we love him and what he is going to do for us. So Drew Romo getting things started off here with a triple. Next at bat for Zach Veen. We're going to see about 3 at bats per for these guys, and he's going to take the slider, be late on it, but get it down and drop it fair. That's going to be another run. Of the 4 runs the National League side has scored, 3 have been driven in by Colorado Rockies. Unfortunately, Drew Romo won't get to bat with the 2 runners on, and if he did, they would have came home. This one into the gap. It's going to be a long single, as taking a turn, but then realizing, probably not. Especially in this game, don't want to risk injury. He's going to get a single. So Romo 2 for 2, Zach Veen 1 for 2, and his second strikeout as he watches that change up at the knees. A fantastic pitch by Brock Porter. Romo comes up 2 for 2, a single and a triple, a pair of RBI as the lead is now expanded to 6-0. He will fly out to left field with that one, and that will do it here for the Futures game. We had 2 representatives, and the National League will end up winning, representing us well. So a good day for Veen, a good day for Romo, and both of them are going to get on this ending graphic here as notable players for the game. So representing Colorado well, and love to see this youth movement. They ended up getting another at-bat, being another hit, and Romo stayed with his 2 hits.
I'm very, very overwhelmed right now. First season so far has not been great. We're at bottom of the division, and you know it's going to happen, right? Like, this wasn't a team that was supposed to be good. I mean, frankly, you have some pieces here or there. And just woke up. I haven't slept. I've been hours of draft prepping, and it just doesn't. I'm not cut out for this. It's fun, it's good, it's a dream, but why me? Like, I don't get it. I've been trying to call Mr. Lynchfield, texting him, he just doesn't answer. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm fucking up. I don't know if I'm doing a good job. Again, no one from the past regime wanted to help me because they were just bitter that they got fired the way they did, which I don't blame them. I don't have a great support staff. It's really me, the scouts. There's not much in here. Field just kind of just threw me in. I don't get it. I mean, it's my first draft tonight, and I don't. I think we have a solid plan for 3. It's Sherwood Winchester. I'm locking it in. I am Vontae Mack, no matter whating. Sherwood Winchester. and I think he's going to be a fantastic catcher. And it's BPA. It always is. It always will be, especially in baseball. It's so fickle. Who's going to be good? Who's going to be bad? You have generational prospects, and so I'm like shaking. And they turn out busts. You have guys who you throw a flyer on, and they turn out to be Mookie Betts, and it's Sherwood. Winchester, I think, is going to be the guy that we select at 3 if he's there. If he's not there, I think we have a solid plan right now. The plan, Sherwood at 3, and then pitchers at 37, 41, and then from there, it just bothers me. I think we put so much attention at 3 that I don't know the end of the draft. Like, it's all pitching, which I wanted, but there isn't enough. Like, if those guys go, we're fucked. And I just don't know. I just don't know. So we'll see. But I'm fucking dying over here.
All right, finally here at the draft after getting calmed down from this morning and multiple notebooks. And finally ready to do this thing. We're approaching our time. We're third on the clock and just kind of go over my thought process. Right now, we're focused on just hitting our top 3 picks. After that, we'll let the chips fall where they may. Sherwood Winchester's my number 1. I think he is a combination of safe floor and great ability. I mean, we are enamored with his fielding ability. We think the stick can play. He might not have a ton of pop, but playing in Coors Field, hopefully for a very long time, he'll be able to get some home runs that way. And his numbers are going to look a little bit better than what he is. We know his demand. He did opt out of the doctor's exam, so I don't know if he's hiding anything. Right now, our scouts have him ranked 8th. MLB and the total has him ranked 3rd. You know, the guys over there at MLB.com doing all the prospect stuff. I have him number 1. From the guys that we've scouted, the guys we've seen, I think he fits what we want on this team the most out of everybody. Obviously, you want pitchers, but the pitchers at the top don't really excite me as much as Sherwood Winchester does. After that, pitchers 37, 41, they're going to most likely be pitchers unless we have a guy that falls tremendously where we don't think he would have before. So that's it. We're going to look at our draft board. Here's how it stands. The guys that we have on the board scouted, we know what we're going to get from them. Winchester starts us off at number 1. Bobby White will be our backup at 2. Again, we have him 4th on our board. Scouts have him 4th. Richie Ellison, I think he's a guy we saw late. We actually have him number 2 on our board, an outfielder. I don't love the fielding, so that's why I kind of have him lower. JJ Rose is a guy we're looking right there. He's projected 37. We would love him. Alex Hardesty, he's projected 33. A guy that might not be ready for a couple years, but we love his upside and his potential. Rufus Dorman, another one of those pitchers. He's a guy who's in negotiations for 3, and you'll see kind of a trend here. It's guys that are going to go 3. Like, these are the guys that we'd have to go 3. Edgar Rodriguez, one of the only non-pitchers we have. A lot of these guys we have in our top 10 or in MLB's top 10. Pedro Santana, we have him draft rank 3. He's a guy who may be at the end because they haven't projected 37th. Sean Minoso, we have in case he falls. Steve Cedeno, power hitting, especially against lefty first baseman. Kurt McCain, he's the projected number 1 overall guy. We'll see. Mark Marbury, he's another pitcher that doesn't really have a big ranking on the major league stuff. Eugene Carroll as well, but we have him kind of in that, in the round for 41. Omar Cannon fits that bill as well. Fernando Benitez, another guy who's in play with maybe our 4th pick. Charles Stanford, we have him ranked 77th on our board. Left his 2-seam fastball, his fastballs. And all right, it is time for the draft. Need Sherwood, Winchester to fall to us. at 3. Projected third. We love him at 3. First pick, Cleveland. Aldo Almanzar. We had him 23rd. He was the 6th ranked prospect. They liked what they saw from him. Cincinnati. Don't hoe us. Don't hoe us. Fuck. He was our guy. Now he's gone. Okay. Fuck. I really didn't want to go. Now I'm kind of scrambling. Do we go pitcher? It's Bobby White or nothing? Or do we go Ellison? All right. Ellison or White? What do you think? Okay. All right. Make the call. Yes, sir. Ready to make the pick? Third pick, Colorado selects. Bobby White. Okay. See how the rest of this board plays out. Ellison, JJ Rose, Hardesty really like JJ Rose, but now we took a pitcher 1. I'm not too upset if he doesn't go. Barton Lopez, the guy we have on our board, he goes here at number 10. Another guy on our board, our 9th ranked prospect. Chicago liked him as well. He was projected 21. Kurt McCain, the number 1 consensus pick. We didn't love him as much. Kansas City feels like they probably got a steal to add to Bobby Witt in the middle infield. Rufus Dorman, another guy that we had at this 7th spot. Right now, a couple guys off of our board. Almanzar, obviously Sherwood, Bobby White. Everyone was on our board. Hector Lopez is the first guy. Big surprise by the Angels. We did not have him on our board. Again, we're praying for JJ Rose. Steve Cedeno, that hurts, especially we don't have many fielders. We don't have any position players on. So every time one of those guys goes, it's like a slug to the chest. And another one. Starting to get really fucking nervous. Okay. Rodriguez goes. Bert DaCosta, a shortstop we did not have. And from the limited scouting that we had him 42nd on our individual board, 46 on the big board. Red Sox take Jack Griffin, a guy that we were progressively getting higher on. He could potentially be good. We didn't give a whole bunch of time in him. We found him late. So what we saw, we were ready to, and there's Richie Ellison. Our number 2, we did opt out of the doctor's exam. Physicals weren't where I liked that. He's going to hit. He's going to hit for average. Michael Chen goes, as again, we're looking at our board one more time, and most of those guys are pitchers. Bart Fong, third baseman, we weren't too high on him. I think he can be something decent. Adam Briggs, shortstop, we had him 15th, so he goes about right where both us and MLB prospects had him. Sean Minoso is the guy that MLB had 7th. We had him closer to the mid-20s. He goes kind of in between there, closer to where we had him, but does fall a bit. Rafael Bautista jumps up a bit with the Tampa Bay Rays. You know that they're seeing something that everyone else isn't. Ricky Linder, starting pitcher, one of the few that we didn't really think too highly of. He ranked 18th. He goes about where he's ranked, but we had him closer to 40th on our board. Damon Brandt, same thing, closer to 11th. We had him 33rd. So again, if we saw something wrong, then Toronto just got a pretty good player. Todd O'Brien, a center fielder that we had way lower than what MLB had. About this 20th pick, we had him 71. Robbie Caldwell, not Bobby Caldwell. I think you wondered where I've been. White guys in R&B, gotta love it. He goes about where we had him, where MLB had him a little bit higher. Benedict Verdui. I never got this guy's name. We didn't put a lot of energy into him. The guy who we had 14th, they had 14th, but again, didn't really do our due diligence. Kind of went with the baseline. We weren't really looking for him. Jonathan Hanna, a guy we didn't have on our board, but a guy that we were looking at. We were getting progressively higher on him. James Morales, another one of those guys. We didn't officially put him on our board. But Cedeno going sucks. Rodriguez going sucks. Well, I mean, we did not have much in terms of position players in this draft. Again, that was the one thing we did not scout heavily. And looking back, that might fuck us because we're going to have a shit ton of pitchers and they better work, because if they don't, Russell Brandon, a guy who really jumped up on the board. We had him 140th. MLB had him 145. So Houston either made a silly decision as Ken Lambros, a guy we didn't really go over, but we've seen him before. But again, Russell Brandon, a guy who jumped way, way higher. And that's just scaring me. Harold Flaherty goes, and he's the last pick of the first round. Chris Roberts. And Baltimore, you get Mauricio Palmeiro, a closer. So we're seeing a run on relievers now. We have really no interest in drafting relievers. That is kind of my philosophy. Relievers, why develop them when you can just go get them? A lot of them are cheap. And we're just holding on for J.J. Rose, Alex Hardesty. If we get one of these guys, I will be fine. Bertram Wenstrom and Howard Fowler, again, two relievers. And Fowler's injured, so Pedro Santana, third on our board, and that's a big one. That's a big blow. Santana was in the mix as well. Vern Harney. Okay, we're on the clock again. I'm not even going to ask. I'm making the call. Yep, we're ready to select. With 37th pick, Colorado Rockies select. JJ Rose. I loved JJ since we started scouting him. Obviously, we had a couple pitchers ranked higher. I really had him as our second pitcher that we wanted in this draft. The strikeout potential is really what drew him to me. Lefty as well, that plays. So if he can keep the home runs where they're at, he could be very, very good. All right. 2 more picks until we get to go again. Again, you just have no fucking position players. Hardesty will be the pick if he's there. After that, we're going to figure it out. All right. Call it in. No time on that. Alex Hardesty, welcome to Colorado. Her list is down to 5, though, and they're all starting pitchers. So I don't want this to be an entire starting pitcher draft, so we're going to have to take some shots in the dark. Now we're down to just 3. Stanford's left the board. Call. I don't want to go pitcher. I don't want to go pitcher again. Who do you like? Outfield, first base is who I'm looking at, especially how left field and first base has played this year. I would not mind getting another outfielder. Okay. Put in the call. We're going to go with Christian Nam. With the 79th pick, we got the guy who was 84th on our board. All three pitchers are still there. Mark Marbury, Eugene Carroll, and Omar Cannon here at 109. I did get a text from one of my assistant scouts who I like as a kid. Tyrone Garinger. Bobby Byler is a guy we were looking at. Derek Creech, a guy that I also had an eye on. We didn't do too much scouting on them. But the text said Tyrone Garinger fills that first base spot. And we get a young kid who might be a flash in the pan, might be a little bit more than that. Our 5th round pick. All three guys are still there. We're going to go Eugene Carroll. Guy who we like the potential of especially. And with our last pick, Mark Marbury and Omar Cannon are still there. And I think we're going to, it's a guy with a little bit, both a higher ceiling, higher floor, but a guy who's a little bit over a guy who's more polished. And it kind of just depends on where you kind of feel. And I think we're going to go potential here. We're going to take Omar Cannon. And that should be our draft. So Colorado Rockies finish things off. And that's going to be our draft. Fuck. I did not like that. That Winchester pick. Him going is huge. I mean, now him going is big. I still believe in Bobby White. I think for what we had to deal with, and after it was Winchester, no matter what I had, Bobby White I think is going to be good. But kid, pitcher, I have all the faith in the world in him. But I do know, I get it. I understand the implications. He's a high school pitcher drafted number 3 overall. A lot of expectations, and they usually don't get filled. Hopefully I'm proven wrong. I'm not proven wrong. I believe in him. I'm not going to sit here and think we wasted the 3rd pick. If I didn't truly believe in him, I would have gone a different direction. And there were scouts telling me that phone call. They told me Ellison, and I made the choice. I wanted pitching this first draft, and probably the drafts going forward are going to be very pitching heavy. My philosophy on that, you get a guy, you get a stud. If you have a lot of studs, you can trade them off for valuable pieces. I mean, starting pitching is the most valuable thing in this league. If we can stockpile those assets and then potentially, once it's time to compete, figure out where our holes are on the roster and fill those in, thanks to some starting pitchers that might not quite make our list, but will make another team's list, and we can get a valuable piece that would help us compete in the future, why not? Other than that, again, I was very, very, very concerned. We did not have many position players on our board. I told everyone it's going to be starting pitching, especially year 1. Next year, I think we got a pretty good crop of starting pitchers to start building that farm system. You've seen the videos, where our talent is. It's in the outfield. It's in the field right now. I mean, the pitchers that we do have on that list, other than Dollander, who did scoop up and be like a top 30 prospect towards the midpoint of the season, we need more. We need more. Right now, we have no one in the major leagues right now who I see being a long-term fit for us. Other than Dollander, he's the only guy I can see like really being good. Joe Rock's had a great season, but where's his potential at? Where does he cap out at? We wanted some horses in that pen, and I think we filled up that stable with some good horses. But we took a chance. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, the scouting department's going to go and really look at Nom and Garinger after the fact. They're going to really kind of give me the reports and if these guys are going to be duds or not, what we're going to do. We're going to get them in the minor leagues. We're going to get them working. Hopefully we can get a deal done. But first draft, definitely a couple years off the life. Definitely need to subscribe to Pepto-Bismol. Like my old football coach used to drink an entire bottle Pepto-Bismol, like per half. And this was like when we were in 7th grade. Love you, Coach Quinn. But fuck. we were able to sign all of our draft picks for the most part. We only had one in JJ Rose. It took some negotiating with, but other than that, all of our draft picks eventually signed. We did get some scouting numbers on the two guys we put flyers on in Nam and Garinger, and we liked them. I think after putting some more time with them over the last couple of weeks trying to hammer out a deal, we kind of figured out where they would be slot value, kind of where they would be in terms of intrinsic value, where we think they are going to be as players, and I'm happy with those picks.
With the draft moving to where it is, it's now All-Star Weekend, and here are the representatives who have been selected to represent the National and American League. First half of my tenure here at Colorado, we just did the draft. You could probably tell how stressed out I was and everything. We only have one representative. It's going to be Brendan Rodgers, who probably Nolan Jones might have had a better season, but with the outfield being as stacked as it is, I think they're going to roll with Brendan Rodgers as our lone representative. We only got the one this year. Each team's guaranteed one. And here is the American League side of things. And again, draft just happened. I'm excited to see what we have in the future. But right now we are looking ahead just to the All-Star game, trying to enjoy the festivities, meeting with GMs around. It's in Texas this year. Decided to go. Networking those lines as trades are going to be happening pretty shortly. First off is the Home Run Derby, as here are our representatives: Patrick Wisdom, Aaron Judge, Corey Seager, looks like Matt Olson, as well as Royce Lewis, Juan Soto, Austin Riley, and Christian Walker, I believe. First round comes and goes. Second round, Seager, Olson, Royce Lewis, and Austin Riley. It's going to end up being Lewis and Corey Seager. And your hometown shortstop, he's going to win the Home Run Derby in front of the fans. It was a fun night. Enjoyed getting to meet the fans. Me and Brendan was out there networking with everybody, just talking to everybody, getting everyone's feelings. And I get that we have not had the best of years. But overall, a fantastic experience going down there to Texas. Got to talk with a lot of players. We now look at Brendan Rodgers at bat. National League up 7-6. He has a runner on first base. 1-2 count against Clay Holmes, and he'll pop that one straight up. It's going to go into shallow right field. Second baseman will be there to put it away, and that was it for Brendan Rodgers. Again, not a lot of representation by the Rockies. We're going to change that. We're going to get a lot of All-Stars pretty soon. I can feel it. Here's just a look at the league and where everyone is standings-wise. These are teams that we are going to be trying to poke around at and see if we can get some trades going with them. Yankees, Orioles, Rays at the top of the American League East with the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. The Red Sox, we made that trade with them. They were kind of, at that point, decent, and now it's kind of just fallen off. American League Central, Twins and Royals are the only two players there. That American League West is a little competitive between the Mariners, Rangers, and Astros like it was last year. American League Wild Card. Really, the Royals are the only team on the outside past those three that are in there. Braves Phillies is a matchup we're going to be watching to the end of the season, tied at the top of the NL East right now. National League Central boasts the Reds and the Cubs tied, and the Cardinals right behind them. And then obviously we are at the very bottom of the NL West, with the Dodgers, Diamondbacks being the players there. And here is the National League Wild Card. These are the teams looking to make moves. And here are the moves we made. We traded John Curtis to the Rangers for Jax Biggers. Jax is some versatility and some depth in the middle infield. This guy was having a pretty good season for the minor leagues. In Texas, John Curtis goes to the Rangers and tries to bolster up that bullpen for another World Series run. The reliever goes this time to the Cubs. We get Hayden Cantrell again, shoring up that middle infield. We do have some of our top players there, but we want some depth there. We want some versatility there, especially we don't really have a bench middle infielder. Dahlbeck can play shortstop and second base, but I wouldn't love him playing those two positions. So Hayden Cantrell, a guy who we're going to put in AAA, I believe, and he's a guy that could potentially make a future on our bench. The big one, Elias Diaz to the Guardians to shore up that catcher spot behind Bo Naylor, and we are going to get Ethan Hankins, a guy that is going to have some potential, and we'll see him in scouting later on this year. He'll be in Double-A for us. Cleveland has a lot of pitching, so they were fine making the swap. We think we got the best value out of Elias Diaz. Hankins, a guys who can probably compete for a 3, 4, 5 spot in a rotation pretty soon, especially we needed pitching, and really one of the only pitchers we were able to pick up here at the deadline. Another pitcher in the same breath as Hankins, this time it's going to be Darius Vines. Again, a guy with some major league experience. We're going to flip Dakota Hudson. He came off the IL, and we flipped him immediately. We did not want to risk him getting hurt again. This is a guy that we kind of knew we were going to be trading from the jump. And Darius Vines, we're going to bring back, again, a guy who's probably going to be with us or AAA. We'll bounce back to see how he does. We're going to give him every opportunity to play for the Rockies day one. He has some major league experience, and a guy we're excited for. In our final trade we got utility infielder and catcher Cody Freeman. This is a trade the Rangers came to me about right at the end of the deadline, as Tyler Kinley is going to be going on the move. He had a fantastic season. We were kind of okay keeping him, but then this trade came in kind of at the last minute. Freeman at catcher. We needed that depth after Elias Diaz departed, and we get some depth also around the infield, and a guy that maybe if the bat starts swinging, maybe things happen the way it is. He can be a bench guy for us, but I think that's good value from a reliever. After the trade, just here is a look at some of the roster moves I did, sending players up, sending players down. I think overall, for what we had to offer, we had a pretty good haul. Obviously, Elias Diaz being the biggest name that we traded, and Ethan Hankins being the biggest name that we got in that return and throughout. Other than that, it was kind of just depth moves, nothing too crazy. The guys that we had, they weren't lighting the world on fire. I wasn't going in here thinking, all right, I'm going to get several top 10 prospects. That's not how it works. When really all you have to give up is relievers at the moment. Again, German Marquez is going to be a big fish probably next year. But right now, he was hurt. We have the year with him that we can't really do anything. The big move we will be making, which is bringing Drew Romo up. And this is really addition by subtraction. We are adding some of our prospects up into the major leagues by getting rid of Elias Diaz, getting some value in return, and I think really adding. Obviously, Diaz said it was having a good year, batting over like 270, 280, around there. Wasn't giving us much pop, but I think overall Romo's going to give us better defense. And if he can hit, cool. He's been hitting all year. Had a little bit of a slump before we saw him making his debut. But he's going to be thrust in there. And actually, let's head on to the debut of Drew Romo. Romo's going to make his debut against my former Boston Red Sox, and I am so excited to see what this kid got. I thought maybe the first year he would be all in Double-A or Triple-A, he'd be in the minors, but he was doing so well at Double-A. I figured we're going to bypass Albuquerque altogether, and we're going to bring him to the show. I think he's ready, and here's what he was doing. 819 OPS, one of the best in all of Double-A. 7 home runs. 37 RBI, started the season in the bottom of that lineup and then forced his way to the top by the end of it. He'll be catching Ryan Faulkner, who's done decent since going to the rotation, from the bullpen into the rotation, and he'll be working with Drew Romo to begin the day. Pitch by Devers is up, and caught by Romo is his first real play of his major league career. And he's going to face off against Cutter Crawford, a guy who a lot of people thought was going to have a pretty big breakout season with the Red Sox this year. And first pitch swinging, Drew wastes no time, picking up his first career major league hit. Of the 3 guys we've seen play their debut here in Colorado, he's the first to get a hit in their first game. Yanquiel and Warming Bernable, who we saw earlier in this year, didn't get their first hit in their first game. So Drew Romo gets his first hit on his first pitch that he sees. He'll put that definitely on a trophy case somewhere. And I'm sure he is extremely excited, proud of him and the Romo family, and very excited to see how he blossoms here in Colorado. Second at bat, he's going to be swinging cutter up, and this one is just going to get just before the warning track. Didn't quite have the Coors effect here, as I'm sure that would have been a perfect day for him getting a home run in his first major league game. He's going to strike out here, the cutter up high, he chased it, and he will go back to the bench. That's going to do it for the day for Romo. Here are some of the rest of the moves around the league. This is, as we come to the end, we have passed the trade deadline. Obviously, we are where we are. Here are some of the moves, a couple surprising moves as well. Some good prospects were moved around, and not just at the deadline. It was a pretty active last 2 months around the league. Enrique Bradfield going to the Pirates. C.J. Abrams for Tyler Bibee is a big one as well. Ji-Hwan Bae going to the Cubs, the interdivision trade there. Kyle Harrison for Drew Gilbert's a big prospect for prospect swap. And Jason Hayward going to the Guardians. He is able to help them out. And Willie Abreu getting a haul as going for the Red Sox to the Mets. Jake Fraley for Matt Wallner is a player-for-player swap. And those are some of the notables. Here's our lineup as we end July. It was the most stressful month of my life, the most stressful couple of weeks I've ever experienced. I think, though, we end this month with a brighter future set in place. Our foundation is stronger. Our goals, I think, are stronger, and they're going to be this wave of players coming in. We're going to help realize that. I'm excited. I was nervous at the beginning. It was woe was me in the beginning, but I think we figured it out. Join us for August coming up soon. I appreciate you guys tuning in every single episode. See you next time here with the Colorado Rockies.